Congressman is working on something that he thinks will benefit our state. Tom Tiffany says he plans to reintroduce his bill to make the Apostle Islands a national park soon. Brittany Merlot tells us more.
Now, the bill was originally proposed last summer, but it was never seriously considered amid pushback from the Bayfield community. The original bill also featured very little detail on important issues like road improvement projects, housing needs, or the potential effects that increased tourism could have on the area. If it's eventually signed into law, the Apostle Islands would become the first national park in the state of Wisconsin.
During the week of the NFL draft, Green Bay is looking to double parking ramp fees to help cover increased staffing needs. About 250,000 people will come to the area for the draft. Many will park in downtown ramps and use shuttle services to get back and forth. The city wants to increase the fee to $2 per hour on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or $24 a day. The full city council will vote on the change at its meeting on April 15th. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.fm.
An epic comeback for the Bucks. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks were down by 24 points in the fourth quarter and still came back to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves at home, 110-103. It's the biggest comeback victory of its kind in 30 years for the Bucks. Head coach Doc Rivers.
Heck of a win. It really is. You know, when you have 4 guys on the bench with 1 starter, that's what you play your last 8 minutes of the game with. That's pretty impressive from our guys.
Giannis, despite his sore left shoulder, with his third consecutive triple-double. Baseball, the Brewers hitting 3 home runs in the 7th inning, on their way to a 7-1 win over the Rockies at Coors Field. Starter Freddie Peralta went 5 innings, holding Colorado to just 1 run in his 3rd start of the season.
For me, everything's going how I was expecting, not talking only about results. It was like how I feel, the confidence that I have, my plans and all that. Everything's going on the way that I was expecting.
That's Brewers pitcher Freddie Peralta with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, some showers around, maybe a flurry and a low in the low 30s. And still a shower chance for tomorrow, more clouds, highs mid-40s. Warming up, though, through Friday and the weekend. Highs well into the 50s, even some 60s. It's 46 right now.
Remembering Vietnam, brought to you by The Dispensary.
I was very tight-lipped about Vietnam for a lot of years. I think I was resentful in a certain way that I lost my youth over there. Before I left home, I was a happy guy. Lots of friends, liked having a good time with everybody. When I came back from Vietnam, I was different. I had changed. It took me a while to realize it, but I just felt like my old friends were immature. At least that's how I perceived it. Suddenly, I had a really bad attitude. It gradually went away, but I just had a hard time going from what I'd gone through over there to jumping right back into my old life. That's what I mean when I say I lost my youth. I would never be that happy-go-lucky kid ever again. Chuck Wellens, United States Marines.
Hear this full story at WGBW.FM. Click on Remembering Vietnam. Brought to you by The Dispensary. Online at thed8dispensary.com. Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time as we'll continue to explore the tariffs of Trump and how they impact us here in Wisconsin. Plus, a little fun.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a man barely 6 feet tall, but a mountain of muscle, Pete Schwaba.
I don't know about a mountain. I've got some definition though. What do you think, Con? I'm bursting out of this shirt, don't you think?
Have you been going to the gym?
A little bit, yeah.
Here and there.
I'm very proud of myself for not making it. I've been doing 12-ounce curls joke because that just would be terrible. Just awful. Hey, good evening and welcome to Nite Lite, everybody. I am Pete Schwaba, your host for this evening's show. Great to be with you and great to have you with us as always, it's more fun to do this when people are listening. And I know you're listening because you guys send great texts. You're part of the show. It's so much fun. And I have a great show for you guys tonight. Great guests. We're going to play some really funny clips that will hopefully make you laugh. And we have a great question. It's just banging on all cylinders here, right, Con?
Of course.
Yeah. Did you have a good day?
I had a pretty good day. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was for the question. I had to really think about it. So,
Well,
I dug deep into Conrad's mind to find this name.
I know the show is off to a good start when you refer to yourself in the third person. that to me says it's going to be a banger show. So that's awesome. We're going to do, we've got a great question. We'll get to that in just a minute. Tonight, though, joining me on the show, very excited to have for the first time, he's an Eau Claire-based filmmaker. He makes short films. He's been in a lot of festivals. He's been to Sundance. And he is also part of Action Wisconsin. The group, primarily, I thought Milwaukee-based. I could be wrong, but trying to bring film incentives to Wisconsin in hopes that we get more films made here and more production jobs, more movies made. It's great for the state. It promotes the state. Tim will talk about that with us at 6:35. Tim Schweigel, he will be here at 6:35, and we'll talk about his movie making career and how things are going. The one thing I've learned doing this show, and I wasn't expecting this. Like, I know people make movies in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, even Milwaukee. I did not know there was as many filmmakers as there are in other parts of the state. So that has kind of opened my eyes to the great culture we have here in the state of Wisconsin. And Tim is based in Eau Claire. We've got tons of guys here in Northeast Wisconsin that we've had on the show, and some filmmakers in Northern Wisconsin. So we have a lot of people that want to make movies, and we will talk to Tim about how we can make that easier through Action Wisconsin. That's at 6:35. Then our pal Rob Thomas joins us at 7:20. Rob has been boots on the ground for the Wisconsin Film Festival. I know he's been seeing a lot of stuff. At least he alluded to that in our text exchange earlier. So I'm excited to talk to Rob about what he's seen. And I have to say, I finished the show. The Netflix show, Adolescence, has received a ton of publicity. It's broken records on Netflix for ratings. I know in the UK, the government and parents and teachers want to show it in schools. It deals with cyberbullying and kids that spend too much time on their phones when their parents aren't even aware of it. So I started watching Adolescence about a week and a half ago before I went to Madison for the film festival. And I got 3 episodes in. It's only 4 episodes. The 4th episode, it's just such a brilliant show. It's so well done. And it's so thoughtful on every level. And I finished the last episode today. I literally was fighting back tears. It is so powerful, so poignant what this couple goes through. Stephen Graham plays the boy's father. Basically, it's a boy accused of killing one of his classmates because of social bullying. And the kid claims he didn't do it. And the police are saying he did. And I won't say what happens, but it leads the parents down this rabbit hole of, could we have done more? Could we have, been on top of our kids more, not to be on their phones all the time or locked in the room on their computers? And I finished it today. Stephen Graham is such a good actor. He's one of the show's creators. I cannot recommend this show enough. It's not whimsical. It's not going to make you laugh. You have to be in the right mood for it. But if you're a parent with kids in middle school or high school age, I cannot recommend this show enough. It's just very well done. And even if you don't have kids, it's just great TV. So definitely check out Adolescence. I finally finished it, and I just think it's spectacular. Con, I haven't asked you what you've been watching lately, and I apologize for that. I did not mean to be rude.
Well, I'll tell you this. So my favorite show of all time, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mansions of Moms or whatever. What is that one?
MILF Manor. But
MILF Manor.
Yeah, the season 3 hasn't come out yet, so I'm a little disappointed about that. So,
oh boy, fingers crossed.
I don't even want to know what season 3 is going to be.
You don't want to spoil it.
But anyways, How I Met Your Mother. It's been 25 years since it released a couple months ago.
Wow.
So Josh Radnor, who played Ted Mosby in it, and the co-creator made a podcast about it, and they actually are going through every episode and what it took to make it and all the fun stories behind it. So I'm rewatching How I Met Your Mother and listening to the podcast.
Oh no! Wow, that's serious inundation with your favorite show. That's very cool.
It's another reason to go back to it because I love it so much, but also to get some insights of maybe some things I missed that they put in there, that what it means behind it or something. So already just the first episode, they talked about why they wrote it like that. What was it supposed to be like and stuff like that. So that's what I'm watching.
That when you find really good, and it's not even DVD extras, but just extras, behind the scenes stuff about a show that you really like, it can make you like the show more, but it gives you even a greater appreciation. It's like a Q&A at a film festival. You see what went into it, the challenges they overcame, what they were thinking when they cast the role. I mean, it's great.
Another thing I went to the theaters to see on Sunday, the Minecraft movie.
Oh my God, how was that?
Well, it's not going to be like anyone else's experience because I went in there and there was like 3 people in there. So
was that good or bad? Because I've heard that kids are standing up and cheering and clapping.
I saw it even worse today. I saw a video where people were throwing food and drinks at the screen because of a scene.
What?
Yeah.
Why? What was the deal?
So there's a scene in where Jack Black says chicken jockey, which that is a baby zombie on top of a chicken.
Sure, of course. I'm with you.
And for some reason, that has got everyone, whenever he says that, they scream and clap and throw stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a bunch of jerks, though. Why would you do that? Why would you throw stuff and make a mess?
Yeah, no, that's terrible. I'm glad that my theater experience was just watching the movie.
So how was that stuff aside, how was the movie? Did you like the movie itself?
It was okay. It was fine for a video game movie. I thought it could have been better. I mean, just seeing the Fallout, how good that show was.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot better in the Minecraft movie, but otherwise it was funny. I'll give it that.
Did you finish the Fallout show?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you did. And what did you? I watched 2 episodes, and it's not like I didn't like it. I just got distracted, but I'll probably go back to it. How was that?
Yeah, I think, it followed the game to a point, and I think that I really enjoyed it. And why can't I think of his name? The guy in White Lotus. I don't know. I can't think of his name, but
Walton Goggins.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I think he was really good in it. I like Walter Goggins. Yeah, and I think that they already renewed season 2, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll have to go back to that. I just kind of got distracted. All right, so we've got a great guest. Rob Thomas is here. Tim Schweigel is here. We're going to talk about some film incentives in Wisconsin, some independent movie making, and then we'll talk about film festivals. And Rob saw Black Bag. I can't wait to talk to Rob about Black Bag, the Steven Soderbergh spy thriller. That'll be fun. But I think before we get too far into the show, we need to discuss our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda. Question.
Question.
Questions.
It's National Change Your Name Day, ladies and gentlemen. So what would you change your name to? If you could change your name, if you could pick your own name, what would you change it to? That is tonight's question. Let us know. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can text us on the app. Very easy to use. We get those texts too. And if you're listening or watching on the stream, you can text us through Facebook, YouTube. What else, Conrad? What am I missing?
Yeah, and Twitter.
Twitter.
We're on Twitter, Civic Media and WGBW.
And people can just text the show through those.
Yep.
And it gets through.
Yeah.
And we read it. There are no chinks in this nightlight armor, folks. So get a hold of us any way you can, but just get a hold of us. It's always more fun when you guys are part of the show. We've got some, we've been posting the questions of the day on social media. And so I'll read some of those now until the text answers come in, but these are great. Ezekiel Drews says, a name that has an interesting vibe considered for stage or theater would be Enoch Vale. Enoch Vale. Is that a play on words I'm not comprehending?
I don't know.
Ezekiel continues and said Pete should go with Ray Iconics. Oh, that one I get. Play on the word icon. I got that. I don't get the Enoch. Enoch Vale. All right, we'll keep playing with that one. Thank you, Ezekiel. Great text. Rose Bauman. My mother's maiden name is my first name, so Rose Marie Rose was always my her choice. So thank you, Rose. That's great. I kind of think that's fun when people have the same name in their name twice. Rose should go with Rose Marie Rose. I like that. Vince Moranto, Max Power. Love it, Vince. Thank you for the text, buddy. Max Power Moranto or just Max Power? Either one works. Daniel Wheeler says, linguistically, Pete's last name is interesting because it requires a wet mouth. Requires a wet mouth to pronounce it correctly. Pete Schwaba, you have to have a wet mouth to say that? That sounds so perverse, Daniel. Todd Michaels says, Elvis Carter. Oh, I like that, Todd. Very well done. That's Todd Michaels. He is the producer of Mino and the Mayor, folks. Check that show out. Todd is awesome. Jimmy Casca, Civic Media Sports Director, says, Peach Waba. That works. That's kind of a running joke on the show, don't you think?
Peach Waba.
Right. We're coming right back, folks. We got a lot of names to read. A great text tonight. Rob Thomas is here. Tim Schweigel is here. All kinds of hell breaking loose here on Nightlight. We're coming right back. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
From a 3-minute record, when we were in school. Tonight I hear the neighborhood drummer sound, can feel my heart begin to pound. So you're tired, just wanna close your eyes. Follow your dream down.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
Picture waking up to stunning waterfront views on Lake Michigan with private beach access right outside your door. Can you see it? Make it a reality and book a vacation rental in Door County, Wisconsin, and discover a world of natural beauty and relaxation. Explore charming small towns full of arts, shopping, and history. Head out for boating, kayaking, and hiking in scenic parks, or stop and sip local wines at Door County's best wineries and breweries. What kind of trip are you planning? Find your perfect Door County getaway today at simpleliferentals.com.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by and for the people. On the ballot with Wisconsin's Supreme Court race April 1st was a question to enshrine a voter ID requirement into the state's constitution. Voter ID is popular in Wisconsin and elsewhere, but comes with unintentional or perhaps intentional consequences. A 2024 poll by the Pew Research Center found 82% of Americans favored government-issued ID for voting, and Wisconsin already has a voter ID law in place since 2011. The recent ballot question asked whether voters should be required to present a valid photo ID, but deferred to state law as to the type of ID. It passed 63% to 27%. At the moment, the state accepts a Wisconsin driver's license, a non-driver ID, military ID, U.S. passport, tribal ID card, student ID card, naturalization papers, or a VA health card. But the devil, as they say, is in the details. While Wisconsin allows some student IDs, VoteBeat reports that IDs from the 50,000 student University of Wisconsin-Madison and other campuses are not acceptable for voting. The state offers a free ID for voting, but requires applicants to appear in person at the DMV with citizenship, residency, or other documents. Disability activists say 11 of Wisconsin's DMV offices are not handicapped.
Unmute your mic, Pete.
That's so... I had such a great joke and my mic was muted. I said, welcome back to Nightlight. This is Pete. Hold on. I got to wet my mouth to say the rest of my name. Thanks to Daniel Wheeler. That's great. Michael Major Gregory checks in on social media and says, Julie is already taken. If you were thinking of that, let me add that I carried a book for a year writing down names I thought I might like to have instead of my given name. Add to that, when growing up, I had a number of nicknames, many of which are still used by people who knew me at different times and phases of my life. Finally, my friend's wife said, I can't take it anymore. You are called by too many names. You have a choice, Gregory Michael or Michael Gregory. That's it. He says, and that, Pete Schwaba, is how I changed my name. Two of the nicknames still abound. Mau from my high school days when interacting with old schoolies, and Major from my military and my current road name with the American Legion Riders. Name, not rank. Good luck on your search. Thank you. That's Mike Gregory is, when I lived in LA, he and his wife lived right above us. He was a soap opera actor. He's been in Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I think Eraser Mike was in. He's got just a long list of credits, and he is a phenomenal guy. Does a ton of stuff for veterans. Great dude. I have a funny story, actually. Mike lived above us in the apartment above us, and in the pool area, he got locked out. So he ran. He's a very athletic guy. He ran and jumped, put his foot on our railing and jumped up and grabbed his railing and pulled himself up. And my mother-in-law was visiting, and she thought the apartment above us was getting robbed. It was great fun. So I don't know if you're listening, Mike. Thank you for that memory. And it's good to hear from you, buddy. So that's our question tonight, folks. What would you change your name to? It is National Pick Your Own Name Day. And that's our question of the night. What would you change your name to? What would you do, Conrad? What would you go with?
I had to think about this because last night, Mike Mercury joined, and what did he put at his title again?
Ryan Guy. He called himself Ryan Gosling on the stream.
So I was like, you know what? It would be cool to have a movie star's name or a TV star's. So I would have went with Ross Geller.
Ross Geller. Interesting. I mean, if we're going to do that, I'll just call myself the Fonz.
There you go. There you go.
I think I would go with maybe Beauregard Schwaba. That rolls off the tongue. You know what name I've always liked? Frank. I like the name. It's like, because with my last name, Schwaba, which is Daniel Wheeler just told us, your mouth has to be wet to pronounce it properly. You have to have like Pete. My problem is and why the Peach Waba thing is a joke. Thank you, Jimmy Kuska, for blowing the dust off that one. It's hard to say. You got to have a hard ending to the first name. Jack Schwaba. I have a cousin named Jack. Nick Schwaba. There's a Nick. I could be Frank Schwaba. I don't know. I got to noodle this for a while. But what would you change your name to, folks? You have the option tonight on Nightlight.
You could be another dessert if you wanted to.
But I've already got, I don't think I need two dessert names, do I? Peach Waba?
You could change the last one, and you could just be Peach Tort.
Peach Tort. I don't hate that. Peach Tort. Excuse me, Mr. Tort. Please call me Peach. Paula, Conrad's mom checks in and says, I have always liked Josephine because of the shortened name of Josie. Yeah, that's a good one. Paula says that would have been Conrad's name if he would have been a girl. Well, you sidestepped that one, Conrad. I think Conrad's a nice name for a girl, actually.
I don't think I've ever heard a girl's name Conrad. I don't think I have.
You could set a trend, though. It's like what your mom is saying, like Josie,
Okay.
That's not typically a girl's name. Like you have the outlaw Josie Wales, the Clint Eastwood film, Frankie and Johnny. Frankie's the girl.
Well, I like the shortened version of my name, Con. I think that's to the point,
I started calling you that just because it's easier. I don't have the kind of time to say Conrad, the whole name, because I'm a busy guy. So I find Con is much more. I'm gravitating toward that. I people had a lot of fun with my name growing up. Schwabs, Cotton Schwabs, all kinds of goofy stuff. So thank you, Grandpa. Thank you, my ancestors. Tom from Monona says, Schwab Pita. That sounds like it could be a little joint off State Street. Come on in for a Schwab Pita. Or unless he's talking about the guy from the Hunger Games. So yesterday when I was driving, this is my new pet peeve. Okay. I was driving home from Madison. And I get sometimes people are in the fast lane and they don't need to be, but they are. And you daydream and you're like, oh man, I'm holding up traffic. Yesterday, I swear to God, for 30 minutes, there were two cars driving right next to each other for the better part of 20 minutes, to the point where I thought they were just doing that to play a joke on me. But the odds of that happening are not good. The two random strangers would go, hey, let's do this, and mess with this guy behind us who we also don't know. So I'm not saying that's likely, but oh my God, read the room, people. Wouldn't you know? First of all, I feel uncomfortable driving right next to a guy or a girl who is in the next lane, because I feel like I would have the need to turn and look at them like, hey, we're driving at the same speed and holding up traffic together. Like, I wouldn't want that weird awkwardness or those looks.
Yeah.
So I would speed up or slow down or something. But this was almost like a planned, like maybe I was on candid camera or something, or the Jamie Kennedy experiment is back. I don't know. It was really weird, and it started to make my blood boil. All right. I had to get that off my chest. I made it. Everything's fine. What would you change your name to, folks? That's our question of the night. We've got, God, I've got so much to get to. I talked about adolescence, which I just loved. I finished 1923 last night, season 2. And those of you who have been watching 1923, Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, it's a prequel to Yellowstone. And Spencer Dutton, who ends up being the father to John Dutton, who is Kevin Costner, comes back from Africa from hunting lions. He's a real badass. And Timothy Dalton plays the bad guy in 1923. And Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren are anxiously awaiting Spencer's return. And let me just say, it was worth the wait. Great shoot 'em up at the end of that series, because they're only doing 2 seasons. It's done. Hey, when we come back, Tim Schweigel will be here. He is a Wisconsin filmmaker and doing lots of good things with Action Wisconsin. That's all coming up next after Civic Media's news team tells you what's up. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From De Pere to Swamico, 97.9 WGBW. Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. When big storms are in the area, for some, it's time to go to work. Do you like looking up into the sky when the thunderstorms are rolling through? You could become a storm spotter. Civic Media meteorologist Brittany Merlot has the details.
The National Weather Service will actually teach you how, and you get a cool certificate. There's online training opportunities, and it's only one class that lasts about an hour. You'll cover severe weather safety and dive in depth on the science behind it. There's a class on Thursday and another one on Monday. Head to Green Bay's National Weather Service page to sign up. And if you love it, there's also an advanced class that you can take next.
Well, this isn't related to tornadoes, but the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is accepting applications for urban forestry catastrophic storm grants. The grant funding was made available after Governor Tony Evers declared a state of emergency from March 29th through April 1st due to severe ice and snowstorms across the state. Individual municipalities, tribal governments, and some nonprofit organizations can apply for between $4,000 and $50,000 of grant funding to repair, remove, or replace trees in urban areas that suffered damage during the storms. It's Food Waste Prevention Week. According to a Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources study released in 2021, food waste is the largest contributor to trash in Wisconsin. That study also found that the state's landfills contain nearly 300 pounds of food waste per resident in 2020. In addition to being financially wasteful, the amount of food waste breaking down in our landfills also produces a great deal of the potent greenhouse gas, methane. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. What better game than Monopoly to create a bidding war? There was a competition by studios over a competition series based on the board game, and Netflix is the winner. Variety reports the show is being described as a large-scale social experiment contest that will force contestants to form alliances and betray their competitors. They must walk the line between capitalism and chaos in a cutthroat race to own it all. I think I hate it already. Monopoly debuted in 1935, courtesy of Parker Brothers, and has since sold about 275 million copies worldwide. First, it was people dancing and singing while watching Wicked in theaters that annoyed theatergoers. Now, it's teenage boys who are clapping and cheering during the record-breaking Minecraft movie. In some ways, this is worse than Wicked, because parents who take their kids have to witness this after probably not wanting to set foot in a theater to see Minecraft in the first place. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Don't miss Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin, June 7th and 8th. Head to fishonmarinette.com for details.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, some showers around, maybe a flurry, and a low in the low 30s. And still a shower chance for tomorrow, more clouds, highs mid-40s. Warming up, though, through Friday and the weekend. Highs well into the 50s, even some 60s. It's 46 right now.
I know that 1 in 10 veterans struggle daily with mental health issues. Suicide is a real risk. If you or someone you love is struggling today, you are not alone. Support is at reachoutwis.org to find local resources available for you and your loved ones. Reach out today.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be non-stop as these high-octane boats reach speeds over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and will run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
Excited to get your garden growing? You're not alone. More people plant gardens every year.
Folks, if you happen to be going to the Wisconsin Film Festival, you have 2 more nights, tonight and tomorrow night. It's all out at Flick's Brew House in Easttown Mall. I want to get 1 or 2 final plugs in here for the Nightlight inspired beer, which is called Hazed on Radio. When I was leaving town yesterday, the brewmaster, Dave Hansen, who did great work, I love what he came up with, told me that it is outselling all the other local brews 2-1. So if you've been there and if you've tried Hazed on Radio, thank you so much. It's kind of exciting, and who knows, maybe they'll keep making it. That would be kind of fun. But if you're headed out to Flick's Brew House for a movie or to see a movie with the Wisconsin Film Festival, check out a Hazed on Radio. It's good stuff. Steve checks in on the text line. Our question tonight is, what would you change your name to? It's National Name Yourself Day. Steve says, if I could change my name, I would change my name from Steven, spelled with the PH, to Steve with the V. Just joking. Seriously, if I could change my name, it would be Maximilian. Oh, Conrad, your dad is going to love this. You know who we have on the show tomorrow night, right?
Maximilian
Blaska will be here. How'd that? Great first name and great last name, too. So, Steve, you might think you're the only Maximilian, but you wouldn't be. You wouldn't even be the only Maximilian on Nightlight. I actually like the V angle with Steve. Although with the PH, it sounds more distinguished, I think, than Steve. Steve is the V is the obvious choice for Steve. And if you take off the EN, then it just looks like Steph. Sounds like your dad's working through some stuff. Sounds like I'm working through some stuff on his behalf.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough silliness. Let's get on with the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to welcome my next guest. This is his first time on Nightlight. He is a Wisconsin-based filmmaker, and he is also very active in the Action Wisconsin movement, which is trying to bring incentives for filmmakers to Wisconsin. It is my pleasure to welcome Tim Schweigel. Tim, hi.
Hey, how's it going, Pete?
Good. Am I saying your name right?
You are. You're one of 8
Okay.
people who say it right first. So
Dude,
that's pretty good.
I'm with you because I've got an SCH as well. And I was just informed by a texter that to say my last name properly, you have to wet your mouth first. I don't even know what that means, but it was just kind of one of those things. So,
I mean, it might be true. I've never thought about how to say my own last name because I just know. But I've heard every possible version. I'm sure you have too. It's what we deal with. There's only like 100 Schwagels on Earth or something. I looked it up.
Oh,
once,
is that right? Oh, wow.
It might be more than that, but it's very few. So it's okay if people don't know.
Exactly. It adds an air of mystery. And I will say that I know that if I meet someone named Schwaba, that is someone that didn't drop the A, chances are I'm related to them. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
So, Tim, it's good to have you here. What would you change your name to? That's our question of the night. Do you have another name?
My gut goes to the default name that I use in Dungeons and Dragons and video games and stuff, which is Felix, because that's just the first thing that always pops into my head. But I quite like my name because, you know, Tim's easy. People don't screw that up.
Yeah.
And the uniqueness comes from my last name. So I'm pretty pleased with where I'm at. But if I had to change it, I might go with that.
I think you're doing okay. Hey, it's great to have you here. Before we talk about your filmmaking endeavors, can we talk a little bit about Action Wisconsin? You're very active, as I understand it, in that movement. How is that going? And can you explain a little bit to people what's happening and why you guys are trying to do this?
It's going pretty well right now. I'm not the best with the specific numbers and all that. It's hard for me to keep it straight. But the general idea is that Wisconsin is one of only a handful of states that doesn't have a film office and film tax incentives to bring productions to Wisconsin and keep projects that would be in Wisconsin here. So that's the big problem, but we made big successes in the fact that in the current version of the upcoming Wisconsin budget, we have those things. There's allocations for both those things. So at this point, it's pretty much just making it clear that, yes, we want this, and yes, it would be good for Wisconsin.
So you're already making films here. And I know a lot of other people that are as well. I made a film here years and years ago with no incentives. We got a lot of help from the community, which you could equate to incentives because they definitely help you get your movie made and help you keep your costs down. But what do you think the chances are of this passing?
Right now, it feels pretty good. Like I said, I'm not in the weeds on the specifics, but it's felt pretty nonpartisan because I think people just like exciting stuff, which I know that sounds really basic, but whenever there's any kind of production, small or big, in the Eau Claire area at least, everyone kind of rallies around it because it's fun and it's cool and the community can be a part of it if it's even sizably bigger. I kind of forgot the specific question. But I think the odds are pretty good. That's what it was. Because it does bring money into the area. And I think kind of the bigger thing personally is I have so many friends that want to make movies or want to work on movies who just left the state because it's so hard to do it here. So it feels like without them, there's like creative brain drain in the state because people just leave.
It's interesting. I think what you said, even if we had a film office, and I forgot about that nugget, it would be easier for those people already making films here without incentives. But definitely the incentives would. But I always feel like, Tim, like this has to be taught at a young age. I think we need to get kids into theater and music and all this stuff so that it becomes part of our fabric of our state. And it's like, well, of course we would pass this rather than, you know, do we want to take a risk and do this, or do we need that money for infrastructure? I think this should be earmarked just for culture and the arts myself.
Yeah, because it also stops local stories from being told because, like, in the case of Charlie Behrens has a video on the Action Wisconsin site about this, how he's pitched ideas for television programs that are very Wisconsin focused, because that's his old brand.
Sure.
And they won't make them here because it doesn't make sense financially, but he's not really interested in making it anywhere but here because it's
Kinda
about here.
defeats the purpose, yeah.
So it might just not happen, which is really unfortunate.
Agreed. Do you think I see that you have the poster on your wall, Hundreds
Yeah.
of Beavers behind you. Such a fun movie. I don't know what those guys spent on that movie. They've been on the show before, and that's just a question you don't ask people, but like have you seen the film? And that is a true indie film victory. I mean, I hear
Yeah.
it's made like $1 million in 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. I'm a mega fan, as you can tell, partially because I saw it on a whim at Midwest Weird Fest here in Eau Claire and was blown away. And then the fact that, this is a 10 out of 10 movie made in Wisconsin through sheer grit. They've been pretty open about budget stuff. The actual production itself, I believe, was around $100,000 that they got 10,000 at a time. So they just started making it and were collecting like that. That might not be exactly right, but that was kind of the gist of it. But any movie that's made in Wisconsin as of now is through sheer grit, and you're essentially doing it on your own, because the perk of a film office is if you want to make something, you go to them and they work with you to make it happen, and they know the crews and all that stuff. But here it's who you know and who they know, and it stops right there, especially if you're in the middle of the state like I am and not down in Milwaukee or Madison or anything like that.
That is, I would be scared to death, honestly, to film the way they did. If that's how they did it, 10 grand at a time, I would be worried, I couldn't raise the rest of the money and I'm stuck with, 100 minutes of footage that I have to piece a movie together from, right? I mean, how have you done it? Like you make films, you're an indie filmmaker. Do you have all the money right when you start principal photography, or what's your game plan?
Pretty much none of, well, first of all, I'm really lucky to have a little network of friends who are all filmmakers or people who want to work in the arts in some way, and we all work together on each other's stuff. So that's a huge factor immediately, and none of our shoots are over like 2 or 3 days, so it's easy to weekend warrior the things.
Right.
And I also, all of my ideas, I think about what can we do without spending a bunch of money. So for me, but that's also just necessity because I don't have the money.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's, yeah.
But I think that can breed creativity. I mean, when you have to think outside the box and figure out how can I do this, fewer locations, fewer actors, whatever it is. My guest is Tim Schweigel. He is an Eau Claire-based filmmaker and involved with the Action Wisconsin movement. They're trying to bring incentives for filmmakers to Wisconsin here to bring more business to the state. Tim, what kind of give us a little background on you as a movie maker, if you would.
Well, I've always just loved movies. I never had any confusion about what I wanted to do, which is very lucky because some people never figure it out.
Right.
But I've always loved movies ever since I was a little kid. My dad would bring me to a movie at least once a week, so it was fantastic. Was involved in film club in high school, so we were constantly making stuff together, and there were a lot of people just making stuff. And I kind of just never stopped. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
All within my own little friend group, all making stuff together, and we've all just kept up and kept doing it. Yeah, it's pretty simple, to be honest.
Are you, when we spoke earlier, you said you were going to be at the Minneapolis Film Festival tonight, initially anyway. I've been to that film festival. I was in a movie that played there, and I thought it was a really well done festival. Did you, or are you having a good experience there?
Yeah, I went to a movie called Good Sport, which is fantastic. That's a local to the Twin Cities movie made by, I think it's Andrew Zucker. It's something like that. But it's fantastic. I highly recommend it. But it's so well put together. Their programming's great. I've seen another movie there on Friday called Cactus Pears. And then a short film that I produced is playing literally right now. It's
nice.
called 528, made by my friends Mac Hastings and Shane Slegger. And it's a little sci-fi drama about a kid playing with, what's it called? A little machine. And when he finds a certain frequency, something happens. And I'm proud of it. They did fantastic work on that. But it's always been a great experience when I've seen stuff there.
Okay, so I was earlier on the show, I was talking about my time. I do some work for the Wisconsin Film Festival, hosting Q&As and introducing films, that kind of thing. And I've been doing that for years. I love the festival. I liked the Minneapolis Film Festival a lot. I've been to several with my own films. I've never been to Sundance. And I know you've been there a few times, whether it's as a spectator or a filmmaker. How do you equate a festival like the one that's happening in Minneapolis right now, or one that might happen in Wisconsin, with the granddaddy of them all?
Yeah, I've gone the past 3 years, just as an attendee.
You don't have to tell people that, though. You could just say I've been to Sundance.
I'll make sure, because when you're talking about film stuff, some people are like, But a lot of the stuff that is being programmed this year at the Minneapolis St. Paul Film Festival are the same movies that are showing there. So, like, they have really good taste. But both of them, people show up and they genuinely love the movies. Like, it feels pretty similar, honestly, outside of the cold, but it's still pretty cold here, just not right now.
Right. All right. My guest is Tim Schweigel. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll ask him what he's working on. And then you have a website, Tim, with some of your work on it. We'll talk about that when we come back, too. It's great to have you with me, everybody. Our question of the night is, what would you change your name to? It's National Change Your Name Day. Let us know. Text us on the stream, on the app, or on the good old-fashioned cellular telephone. We take all comers. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight. We're coming right back on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Call me lieutenant. I don't wanna be your son. Only lover I'm ever gonna need. A soft, sweet little girl's tongue. Dynamite set a belfry bed, flying with the bats. Little guns outside from Woolworths, trying out his attitude.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matinee on Air.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee, with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be non-stop as these high-octane boats reach speeds over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and will run throughout the day. Free for the whole family. This is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
Hey, it's John Mino.
And Jim Schmidt from Mino and the Mayor.
Want to stay in the loop with all things Northeast Wisconsin? Sign up for the WGBW Weekly Newsletter.
Get the latest local stories, updates on the weather, and a special feature from our Mino and the Mayor podcast.
It's your one-stop shop for real news and great conversation in Northeast Wisconsin.
Log on to WGBW.FM today and get signed up.
Real news, great conversation. Sign up today at WGBW.FM/newsletter.
Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you. And you can putt your way through downtown Appleton on Saturday, April 12th from 1 till 5 p.m. Downtown Appleton is transforming into a mini golf course. I bet you didn't see that coming. Players get to enjoy a unique hole of mini golf at a variety of downtown bars and restaurants with food and drink specials galore. Also, there's going to be awards and prizes. And yes, best costume is included. Registration.
Cause I messed up.
Welcome back. You got Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba, your host for this evening's program. PJ on the stream says all of us with German names, referring to himself, my guest Tim Schweigel, and myself. All SCHs. We got to stick together, folks. That is our question tonight. What would you change your name to if you could? Conrad's dad said Maximilian. I find that interesting because we have a guest on the show tomorrow night named Maximilian Blaska. So there you go. So we're talking with Tim Schweigel. He is a Wisconsin-based filmmaker. Tim, tell us a little bit about New Neighbor. You have a website called newneighbor.com. You have content posted there. Where does that come from? Is that all you?
Yeah, that's all us. It's me and my closest pals and collaborators who, again, we've been making movies for years. And we found, hey, it's easier to promote an entity than ourselves.
Yeah.
So we put that together, and that's just our home for the stuff that we make. It's nice to have a website.
It is. It's nice to have a place you can steer people. And I was checking out some of them earlier. Just great stuff. Do you only do shorts? Do you have a desire to do a feature, or is that too overwhelming? Or where do you stand on that? What are your career aspirations, so to speak?
Feature feels like the next step. We're literally this week and next week in the final stretch on finishing 2 more short films, one of which is a proof of concept for a feature project.
Okay.
So that's the next step that we're hoping to take.
When you say proof of concept, I've heard that term a lot lately. I kind of know what it is. You shoot part of the movie and you show it to investors, if I'm not mistaken. But please explain that in case people don't exactly understand it. And I don't have 100% understanding of it either.
Yeah, some people do it differently. In this particular case, I made a short film a few years ago called Blossom and the Decrepit Man. And my new one is called Blossom Needs a Ride Home, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But the general idea is that this is something that is, in some cases, like Jim Cummings' Thunder Road. That short film turned into the opening scene for the entire feature. In my case, this is kind of just, this is the character that will be in the movie, and this is a situation that they're in. It's a full standalone piece. It doesn't feel like a chunk pulled out of something else. It's just something that's like, hey, we did this, and hopefully you had fun with it. You will have fun with it, because I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But if you did, we have more in store, and it's going to be just like that. That's how I'm thinking. Like, look, we did it. Want some more of that? You know, like that's how I think about it personally.
Have you had to raise funds to make short films too, or do you just kind of do those out of pocket?
I don't like to too much if I can avoid it. I've mostly done it out of pocket, and the majority of every project I've done, with the exception of one, has been out of my own pocket, which is why, you know, keeping stuff low is good.
Sure.
But in this particular case, I raised like $2,500 through Indiegogo. You know, just because it was a little more ambitious. And if I'm thinking, all right, if we're going to sell ourselves and be able to, there's a certain expected production quality, and we want to make sure that we can keep that up. I lost the plot there a little bit, but
no, not a good thing to say for a filmmaker, but no, I totally got the gist of what you were saying.
Yeah.
So our friend Nathan Deming, who connected us, Nathan's been on the show several times, says you're a big movie buff. What kind of movies do you like to watch, Tim?
All movies. I know that's a cop-out, but I like pretty much everything. I've tried really hard. I know a lot of people who work in movies, and maybe you can relate to this, but once you like know how the sausage is made, it gets hard to watch movies sometimes.
Yeah.
And I have fought tooth and nail to not lose like when I was a little kid, I liked every movie I watched. You just do it. And I've tried so hard to keep that and not. I can switch off my movie maker brain so well and just take in what the filmmaker wants me to take in, whether it's some slice of life drama where someone's eating pie for an hour, or if it's Terminator 2, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, great film. Yeah.
Like, I know it's a bit of a cop-out to say everything, but I actually mean it. Like,
do you have
a
a genre that you're specific to? Like, let's say you have some time, you're like, I want to put a movie in. What genre typically are you drawn to that will make you want to sit down and watch something?
I mean, just general leisurely walk, anything that is kind of in that, I know, genre area, as like genre fest would be like whether it's action movies or horror movies or comedies, mixes of all those things always feel really great to me.
Yeah.
But that's where I go to if I just want to watch something. But like I said, if someone says, "Hey, I really love this movie," I'm probably going to watch it.
Okay.
Influenced everywhere.
Well, you're making things happen. I love talking to people who are proactive like that. Drop by next time you have a new film. I'd love to play a clip of it on the air and keep us posted with what is happening with Action Wisconsin. It's a very noble effort. I hope you guys are successful, and keep us posted on that as well, and see if we can get this thing going.
Oh, we will.
All right, Tim, don't change your name ever.
Oh, I won't. Don't worry about that.
Thanks so much for being on the show tonight. Have a great night.
You as well.
All right, that's Tim Schweigel, Eau Claire-based filmmaker and film activist, too. What do you think about that, Conrad? You think we need film incentives?
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty cool.
I need to start making my own films,
What would you do? Let's say right now you're going to make a 10-minute short. What's Conrad churning out?
10-minute short?
Yeah.
How I Met Your Sister.
Hey, wait a minute. It's funny you say that, but like you could be the guy, like people watch people play video games, which blows my mind. You could be the guy that records yourself watching movies.
There we go.
We might be onto something. We'll talk about this after the news. Rob Thomas is coming up at 7:20, folks. Get your texts in. What would you change your name to? Rob's stuff is pre-recorded content, so we've got about 20 minutes if you want to get your text in. And we're going to come back and have a little ode to Rhea Perlman. That's Carla from Cheers. After the news, it's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Bar to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. Earl Ingram.
Tomorrow on the Earl Ingram Show, we'll be having an open chat with you about today's topics. Come join us.
The Earl Ingram Show, weekday mornings at 9.
No more mold, no more damage, no more slipping and hurting. Make your ordinary bathroom extraordinary for only $99 per month. New shower, new door, new tub, new wall, new anti-slip technology. BCI Bath and Shower is made in America for the highest quality. First 50 callers save $1,500 on a never clear glass treated door. BCI Bath and Shower. Interest-free financing options. 800-329-4115. 800-329-4115. 800-329-4115.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram. This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. President Trump backs down after repeatedly saying there would be no pause in his tariff plan, today ordering a 90-day pause on most tariffs.
When President Trump was asked why he instituted this 90-day pause, he said, well, people were getting scared. He said, quote, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid. People were jumping a little bit out of line.
ABC's Selena Wang. At the same time, the president imposing a new 125% tariff on China, today saying,
look, for years we've been ripped off and taken advantage of by China and others, in all fairness, but by China, that's the big one.
The news sending the Dow nearly 3,000 points higher, clawing back more than half of the 4,500 points lost over 4 days. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's moving toward a vote on the budget resolution tonight. The House says Republicans continue what he calls positive, productive discussions, but ABC News has learned about 12 holdouts. He can only afford to lose 3 votes. This is ABC News.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news roundup in quick podcast form. You can find it anywhere at the WGBW website, WGBW.fm. For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The new tariffs on goods coming from China are now in effect. President Donald Trump has added tariffs on imported goods from every country, but China's been the biggest target. Goods from China now face up to 104% tax when they enter the United States. Closer to home, Wisconsin Senator Kristen Dassler-Alfheim said the tariffs will affect businesses here, and people are nervous.
I was just given the data from the 6th Congressional District and 8th Congressional District on exports to Canada. Winnebago County is the #1 county for business exports to Canada in the state. And the state is the biggest exporter of goods in the entire country. Outagamie is tied for second place. So our businesses, our friends and family here in the business community rely on successful trade across our friendly borders.
Many manufacturers and breweries in our state use materials or supplies like aluminum for cans or steel that are imported from other countries. The merger of two major mobile carriers is resulting in layoffs across northeast Wisconsin. Jimmy Kuska has the details.
U.S. Cellular is planning to lay off thousands of employees across the country, impacting workers here in Wisconsin. The company is being acquired by T-Mobile. According to a filing with state governments notifying them of the mass layoff, workers will be let go beginning June 2nd. The company plans to offer most of the affected workers similar jobs with T-Mobile. In Wisconsin, 44 locations are impacted, mostly retail stores, as well as the company's engineering hub in Brookfield. About 4,100 workers are affected nationally.
The retail stores and offices affected by the layoffs in New Wisco include those in Appleton, De Pere, Fond du Lac, Green Bay, Manitowoc, Oshkosh, Sheboygan, and Sheboygan Falls. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News.
The Bucks win again. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks beat the Timberwolves 110-103. Despite being down 24 points in the fourth quarter, the fans stayed and cheered the team to a win at Fiserv Forum. Doc Rivers.
It was huge, They could have left. I mean, really, the way the game was going, and they hung in there with us, and then they could smell the blood in the water as well. This is why you love home games.
Baseball, top of the seventh inning, Brewers up 4-1. Bryce Terang at the plate on FanDuel, Wisconsin.
Fly ball, right center. Doyle is back. He is looking, and it's gone for Terang. Home run number 3, and that hitting streak stays alive. 11 games now for Bryce.
The Brewers beat the Rockies 7-1. The 25-year-old Terang's home run sailing 444 feet, the longest of his career.
Dude, I'm getting older. That's just how it is. I'm starting to get the man strength.
That's Bryce Terang with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, some showers around, maybe a flurry, and a low in the low 30s. And still a shower chance for tomorrow, more clouds, highs mid-40s. Warming up, though, through Friday and the weekend. Highs well into the 50s, even some 60s. Currently, it's 44 degrees.
The Todd Alba Show.
Markets continue to tumble after Donald Trump's additional tariffs. I'm not here to tell anybody, oh, I told you so. I think it goes to show how much hurt, anxiety, and angst there was in the voting public in the fall. They were looking for anything to believe in. But now the hard, cold reality is starting to slap people in the face. Trump and Vance have lied, and now the chickens are coming home to roost.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Every year, millions of pets go missing, leaving families heartbroken. If you lose or find a pet, Love Lost is here to help. Our free, easy-to-use platform uses photo matching technology across multiple media platforms to bring lost pets home. Just upload a photo and quickly search the largest national lost and found pet database. Let's unite to reunite, because every lost pet deserves to find their way home. Register today at lovelost.com.
Maggie Dawn.
This week, the Supreme Court took aim at due process, one of the most fundamental rights in any democracy. At 2:30, I speak with Daniel Cotter, an expert on the Supreme Court, and we touch upon Clarence Thomas.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy whose house has an actual wiggle room, Pete Schwaba.
Sometimes I just have people over and I say, go on in there and wiggle for a while, chill out. That's what the room is for. And come back and join the party. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday night. We are barreling through the week. This is the third location I've done the show from this week, Conrad. You realize that?
Yeah. Are you going to get crazy tomorrow night?
I'm a rambling man. I don't like to stay in one place too long. I don't know. Where would I do it from? Where would I go?
Go to the Walker Show studios.
Take the road less traveled. Do we have Walker Show? I thought it was all WRJN now, right?
Oh, yeah. So go to Racine.
Go to Racine. Yeah, I'd love to go to Racine. I weekend there sometimes, so it wouldn't be that long of a stretch. We got to have Stuart Waddles on the show.
Yeah.
He did very well in the poll, or not in the poll, in the brackets. Didn't he take like third place or something?
I think so.
And our own Amanda Nimmer came in second.
Yes, she did.
Good showing for NEWI.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Congrats to Amanda. And I think next year's my year, though. I'm going to crush it next year. I'm going to do a little more research next year because I really did nothing.
Yeah.
And I even lost interest. Like, I didn't even watch the Final Four. I was too wrapped up in movies and I just didn't care. Like, I mean, I typically would take great movies over that anyway, but like if the Badgers were in the championship game, I'd watch that, obviously. But Houston and Florida, I don't have to rush back to my hotel for that, I got a text from my friend Dave, who refuses to text the show. He said, I wouldn't change my name, David, but I would ask people to pronounce it David. So,
there you go.
Okay, that would make you more, I guess, eccentric. Okay, so I wanted to do this last week, but we ran out of time, and we just had so many great guests. Let's do this, Conrad. I clipped a bunch of Carla lines from Cheers. I've been on a Cheers kick lately. Love Rhea Perlman, and she's just so great, and especially the way she goes after Cliff. But just in general, her wisecracks are so great. So do we have two clips? It's been over a week now.
We have
three clips of. Let's hear some Carla from Cheers.
Joanne, the problem you're having is just a simple lack of understanding of the male of the species. See, man was not made to be monogamous. It's an artificial, unnatural phenomenon imposed from without. So the human male can never have enough women.
Or in your case, any.
Just you and me go back and talk to them.
Sure. Big guy wants some pointers now. Sure, Sammy, I'll fill you in.
What a pathetic display. I'm ashamed God made me a man.
I don't think God's doing a lot of bragging about it either.
That's so great. PJ on the stream says, does anyone hang out at the Oshkosh studio? Why are you asking, PJ? Yes, there are tons of people there all the time, and there are Rottweilers there. So if you're thinking of knocking off the Oshkosh studio, PJ, don't even think about it. Yeah, there's people there from time to time. Right, Con? Have you been down there?
Mino and the mayor will actually be there tomorrow morning.
All right. Now you're laying out PJ's plans to when to hit the joint because now he knows not to do it tomorrow. Let's hear some more. This is Rhea Perlman, very funny, playing the role of Carla from Cheers. Another clip.
Tell me something, Red. Are professional athletes better between the old wamp-sutters than ordinary men?
I've had no experience with ordinary men.
Oh, me neither. But I'm trying to work my way up to one.
Believe me, athletes take their pants off one leg at a time, just like anybody else.
They take off their pants?
And if you remember Carla's husband from Cheers, Nick, he's just like this grotesque guy who it's just hard to explain. There are so many great episodes of Cheers where Nick comes back. In one episode, he comes back. He wants one of their kids. They have like 5 kids together. He has a new girlfriend. She can't have kids. So he wants one of his kids with Carla, even though he hasn't seen the kid like in 2 years. And then another one where he's down on his luck and the girlfriend that he was in love with left him and he's doing odd jobs for Sam at Cheers. And he's trying to win Carla back until the other girl comes back and takes him back. Those are 2 of the best episodes of Cheers. Dan Hedia, I think I'm saying his name correctly, plays Nick, and he's just hilarious. But he and Carla together are very funny. We have one more Carla clip. Let's play that one too, Conrad.
Okay, everybody, Carla's got the bar. You can have anything you want, as long as it doesn't have ice, straws, cherries, olives, mixer, umbrellas, fruits, or flames. In order.
I need an old-fashioned, a brandy Alexander, and a martini.
3 beers coming up.
Excuse me. I'm here in response to the ad in the newspaper about a Mrs. Tortelli's children.
Oh, what is she trying to sell them again?
What?
Never mind. Carla,
Yeah, what is it?
the lady here to see you.
Oh, yeah?
I'm Miss Gilder. We spoke earlier about your ad for a tutor.
Oh, yeah. Have a seat over there and we'll talk. I'm taking 5.
Okay.
Here are my resume and references, Mrs. Tortelli. You will see that I teach all subjects. I have a great deal of experience, and if I may say so myself, I am very highly recommended by those for whom I've worked.
Forget that. Have you ever been in any major military skirmishes?
What?
Look, it's very important that I know that you can handle yourself. Would you stand up for a minute? Give me one.
Give you one what?
Your best shot. Right here. Cold cock me, honey.
Please
Don't hold back. Wait, sir.
Let's go.
You don't really expect me to strike you.
$6 an hour.
It's Carla from Cheers, ladies and gentlemen, our little tribute. We have also Josh Brolin, I think, had a birthday last week, and I found a clip from him where he's talking about acting. Conrad, I would love to play that before too much time goes by. So let's hear from Josh Brolin, one of my current favorite actors.
You know, it was frustrating because I would lose roles to people who I didn't think were necessarily really good actors. And we know now it's like, look, you know, bad actors can have great careers and great actors can have no careers. You know, that's the thing about our industry is you don't know. It can be a look, it can be a thing, it can be a vibe, or it can be a great technician or somebody like, you know, Anthony Hopkins who gets Silence of the Lambs at 55 and has been struggling since then. And then he has a whole career from 55 to 80.
Yeah, he's a really good example.
You know, it's just, he's amazing.
One of the great living actors.
Literally one of the great living actors,
yeah.
and was one of the great living actors before that. I remember somebody said to me in an interview, how does it feel to be doing A+ work now when you were doing C- work? I was like, F you, man. Who said I was doing C- work? It may be perceived as a C- movie, but I was bringing an A game to everything I could with whatever ability I had. I never kind of just phoned it in. I've never phoned it in.
Josh Brolin. If you have not seen No Country for Old Men, highly recommend it. The first thing I remember seeing Josh Brolin in was The Goonies, and he played kind of the older kid on the block, or older brother, actually. I think he was Mikey's older brother. And I thought he was great, even then. Have you seen The Goonies, Conrad?
Yes.
What
love
about
that movie?
What about No Country for Old Men?
I haven't seen that, no.
Addicting movie. Phenomenal. Absolutely worth a look. So, all right. The other clip we had, this is one of my favorite actors. It was Christopher Walken's birthday. Was it his birthday or I don't even remember why I clipped this now because a whole week has gone by. But we have a clip of Christopher Walken. Is it the one from Annie Hall?
Yes. Or
Okay.
Yeah, that is the one. Yep.
Okay. So this is Christopher Walken plays Diane Keaton's younger brother, Dwayne. Woody Allen, neurotic New Yorker, showing up in Wisconsin to meet his wholesome girlfriend's family. And Dwayne pulls Alfie, which is Woody Allen's name, into his room, and Woody Allen finds out kind of how nutty he is.
Can I confess something? I tell you this because as an artist, I think you'll understand. Sometimes when I'm driving on the road at night, I see 2 headlights coming toward me. Fast, I have this sudden impulse to turn the wheel quickly, head on into the oncoming car. I can anticipate the explosion, the sound of shattering glass, the flames rising out of the flowing gasoline.
Right. Well, I have to go now, Dwayne, because I'm due back on the planet Earth.
Don't let it be so long now.
No.
baby.
And look up Uncle Briley,
Okay.
promise.
Oh, he is adorable.
Yeah. Do you think so, really?
You're going to take them to the airport.
No, Dwayne can. I haven't finished my drink.
Yes, Dwayne is. I'll be right. Just a second. I have to get the.
The best visual is right after Woody Allen finds out that he has a tendency to want to veer his car into the other lane. Is the three of them going to the airport in a rainstorm on a highway and Dwayne driving, and the look on Woody Allen's face is absolute gold. PJ on the stream says he's talking about the Oshkosh studio again. He says, I drive past it often, and a friend of mine lives close by there. I get it, PJ. Easier to case the joint, right? Conrad, I hope this is all being recorded because I will make a citizen's arrest. PJ knows that. If he knows, he's a frequent listener of the show. I hope he understands that. Thanks for the texts, PJ. Tomorrow night, we got a lot of good fun coming up on Nightlight the rest of the week. Tomorrow night, John and Gordy will be here from the WMDX morning show in Madison. They will be making the popcorn pick of the week tomorrow night. We'll get two for the price of one. Those guys are always fun. Radio legends. Can't wait to have them on the show. Max Blaska will be here talking about his Mental Health Warrior Film Festival. That'll be interesting. That's in Madison as well. And Logan Rogie will be here telling us what's going on with Discover Wisconsin, all the fun stuff coming up. And then on Friday, Sean Hanisch will be joining us. He's the director of the movie Just a Bit Outside. I hung out with Sean a little bit at the Wisconsin Film Festival. He has streaming information. So if you haven't seen it in the theaters, this film took the film festival by storm, and now you're able to see it on streaming very shortly. Sean will fill us in tomorrow night. And if that's not enough, it's a bar band Friday night, tomorrow night with our pal Terry Barr. Coming up, some pre-recorded content with Rob Thomas. PJ says, funny, Pete. Thank you, PJ. Thanks for the text. This is Pete Schwab and Nightlight. We're coming right back.
.9 WGBW and WGBW.FM.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be non-stop as these high-octane boats reach speeds over 105 miles per hour. Located on the Menominee River, you'll be seated on the historic shoreline so you can witness all of the high adrenaline drama. The event is free and perfect for the entire family. Racing will be fierce with up to 100 boats and 18 heats a day. The action will be non-stop for the Queen Marinette Run the River Cup. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and will run throughout the day. It's Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races June 7th and 8th, free for the whole family. You won't want to miss this awesome event. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. In the April 1st spring election, Susan Crawford won the incredibly expensive race for Wisconsin Supreme Court. And she didn't just win, but won decisively, gaining 55% of the vote, a 10-point margin ahead of her opponent, Brad Schimmel. It is a remarkable victory. And in so many ways, this race became a referendum on Elon Musk, from his prominent position in the Trump administration to the tens of millions of dollars he put towards backing Brad Schimmel in this race. And Wisconsin voters spoke decisively, rejecting Musk at this critical moment. All 72 counties in Wisconsin shifted to the left from last fall's election. That includes Brown County, home to Green Bay, where Musk held a rally just days before the election, handing out million-dollar checks. The sweeping results we're seeing are going to send a powerful message that will resonate nationally. Wisconsin voters spoke loud and clear, saying, "We cannot be bought."
Find all of
Be redundant. Other than that, it sounds great. Welcome back. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday night as we get ever closer to warm weather, hopefully. Joining us now on the program is one of our Nightlight pals. He is here frequently, and we love hearing what he has to say about movies and TV. And tonight we'll get his perspective on the Wisconsin Film Festival as well. He is the CityCast Madison newsletter editor, and a Madison-based film critic. Rob Thomas joins us now on Nightlight. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Pete, how are you?
Doing very well. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing good. A little tired. Film festival time. You're trying to work. I don't know. It is actually tiring to watch movies, which I don't understand why. But if you watch 2 or 3 in a row, it does kind of take it out of you.
Yeah. When I was there, I just got back last night, and you're right. It's like you're sitting there, and then there's also the socializing afterwards.
Oh, sure.
Between films, then you're going to another venue, and you're right. It is funny how watching movies can make, or I'm just horribly out of shape. I don't know.
What happened to us, Pete?
Rob, it is I just want to share with you that our question of the night deals with name change. It is National Change Your Name Day. If you couldn't go by Rob Thomas, and I think you have a fine name, it's very easy to remember, but I know you've had some conflict in your life because of another Rob Thomas. What would you change your name to?
Let's see. I mean, Danny Thomas comes to mind, but I guess that would be its own set of problems, although...
How about Ron Thomas?
You know, if people don't hear my name, they always say Ron. They always say, "Oh, Ron," and it's Rob. So that's a sore spot with me.
Okay.
But I don't know.
You got a good name. I wouldn't mess.
My middle name is Mike. Mike might be all right. Mike Thomas. I could. That's a good name. That's a trustworthy name. Yeah.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with the name Rob Thomas. I didn't mean to
Thanks,
insinuate much. We're just having some fun tonight with the question, so I thought I would ask. Hey, so okay, you're at the Wisconsin Film Festival. You've been there once again this year. Our paths did not cross, which made me very sad. But I trust you've been seeing some good stuff and meeting some fun people. How's it going so far?
It's been really good. It's an 8-day festival. It's sponsored by the UW's Communication Arts Department. So like the first half is on campus at a bunch of different venues, and then the second half is at the Monday through Thursdays at great theater, Flicks Brewhouse, Madison,
Right.
and so it's really fun. I mean, there's been a lot of. I think they've had a really great turnout this year. Like every screening I've been to has been packed, and it's like just a wild mix of movies. Like, and one day on Sunday, I introduced this really avant-garde, sort of experimental dance film called The Sea, and then a couple hours later, I saw Starship Troopers, which is that movie from the '90s where guys kill giant alien bugs. So it's like the gamut of cinema.
That's right. Are you out at Flicks now, or are you planning to be there today or tomorrow?
I'm out here right now. I'm gonna catch a double feature here. Yeah.
Rob, do yourself a favor and order a Hazed on Radio IPA. That is the Nightlight inspired brew that brewmaster Dave Hansen put together at Flicks, and we worked on it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I tasted it the other night, and I'm not a beer aficionado by any chance, or by any stretch, but I thought it was good. It's got kind of a passion fruity kind of flavor to it, and I really dug it. And I guess it's doing very well, so I'm happy about that too.
That sounds great. They do good beer there. They brew it on site, and it's definitely one of the perks. So I will definitely get myself a pint.
Do you like where do you prefer to watch films? You're right. That's a state-of-the-art facility. Some of the venues downtown in the university area, I think, have a certain charm to them, and it's just so much fun to watch movies there because of that. But where do you prefer to watch? Do you have a favorite venue at the festival?
It does vary. Like the Cinematheque, where I saw Starship Troopers, is like it's a relatively small venue. It's usually packed, but it's very fun that way. They had the filmmakers there, the screenwriter and a producer, and they were like like 10 feet away from me while they were doing this Q&A, which was really fun. And then I'd never been to Music Hall, but it's like this really beautiful,
Yeah.
I mean, they have music there, but really beautiful place to see a movie. So that was really fun. But Flicks is really, I mean, you get burgers and beer delivered right to your table. That's a pretty good deal. You know, it's hard to turn that down.
Exactly. Let's talk about Starship Troopers. I have to say, I've never seen the film. I read a little bit about it in your Substack. Is that a masterpiece or is it not?
I think I've come around to it being a masterpiece. When it came out in '97, I think I was with the critical opinion with a lot of people, including Roger Ebert, that it was like a dumb sci-fi war movie with a lot of blood and nudity and just this empty-headed film. And what I missed, and a lot of people missed that time, is that it's also this really clever, funny satire about war movies and how they can be used as propaganda by the government. Like the screenwriter said, he was really inspired by the World War II movies that came out during the war that were like, you know, Johnny goes off to war and tells the audience to buy war bonds and all that kind of stuff. And so watching it now, like it's really, like it's still a blast to watch as an action movie, but it's also really smart and certainly it has only gotten more relevant as the years have gone on, I think, about, you know, how government can use mass media to kind of manipulate the public to their will. So I think this might have been the first time I actually saw it from start to finish, and I really loved it and really, I think, appreciated it.
That's fantastic. I want to ask you about that Q&A too. We've got a break for the news here, but
sure.
Stick with us, folks. Rob Thomas is here giving us a full report of the Wisconsin Film Festival, and we'll find out what else he's seen right after Civic Media's news team keeps you informed. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday night on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality.
This is the talk of Green Bay, WGBW. This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The federal government has revoked the visas of more than a dozen people affiliated with UW-Madison, and reports are that there are 14 other students across the UW system that may also be impacted. Savannah Tomei Olson has more.
The university posted a statement on their website saying 6 students and 7 alumni on employment extensions are being told to leave the U.S. immediately. The statement says UW-Madison played no role in these visa terminations. In fact, university staff say they don't know why these visas were canceled. They do say they don't believe these 13 people are having their statuses canceled because of political activity on campus. Many of the people the administration is trying to deport were involved in protests against the war in Gaza. According to the Washington Post, precedent is that the U.S. Constitution protects citizens and non-citizens from civil or criminal penalties for free speech, but it's not clear whether that protects them from immigration proceedings. 2 weeks ago, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said they've revoked at least 300 people's visas across the country.
If you come into the United States as a visitor and create a ruckus for us, we don't want it. We don't want it in our country.
According to NPR, they're justifying these deportations with a rarely used statute that says the State Department can revoke visas if a person is a threat to U.S. foreign policy. But free speech advocates are deeply worried. UW-Madison leaders say they're working with the 13 people affected to help them navigate what comes next. For Civic Media News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson.
WGBW has an e-newsletter that comes out twice a week, and it is filled with stories you care about from the greater Green Bay area. Subscribe today at WGBW.FM. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Russell Brand is already in trouble for sexual assault charges, but things are about to get worse. Warner Brothers Studios has agreed to turn over footage and outtakes from the set of Arthur in 2011. The studio has made it clear where they stand after being sued along with Brand in 2023 by an extra from the film who said the actor exposed himself to multiple people and assaulted her. What a guy. HBO is giddy over the ratings for the season finale of White Lotus Season 3. The network says 6.2 million viewers tuned in and were treated to a higher body count than we've seen in previous seasons of the show. That shattered the past record for viewers of the show, which was the previous week's 4.8 million viewers. I think it's time for me to check out Season 3. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy tonight, some showers around, maybe a flurry, and a low in the low 30s. And still a shower chance for tomorrow, more clouds, highs mid-40s. Warming up, though, through Friday and the weekend. Highs well into the 50s, even some 60s. Currently, it's 44 degrees.
Matt Nair on air.
Dave Wild is our guest, and we're talking about his experience with Medicaid. When I hear some of the Trump officials talk about this, the inference is that these are all lazy people who just don't want to work.
You know, my health took me out of my career. This isn't something I chose. It's something I have to live with. We get checked on routinely. They have all of this in place already. What they're doing is completely unnecessary.
Matt Nair on air. Weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever. Wow. That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Thursday, we're live from our studios in Oshkosh. We'll
Always shiny and happy when Rob Thomas is here. Welcome back to Nightlight. It's Pete Schwaba, and I am joined right now by Rob Thomas, our good friend who is at the Wisconsin Film Festival out at Flick's Brewhouse. 2 more nights to go. You got tonight and tomorrow night, and then they wrap things up. It was such a fun weekend, Rob. In regard to the Q&A, we were talking about Starship Troopers. I said I've never seen it before. What insights did the producer and the writer offer film goers or viewers, I should say, to what that experience was like?
Well, it was really fun. The producer is John Davison, who's retired. The screenwriter is Ed Neumeier, who also did RoboCop, which is a very similar film where it's like an action movie, but has a lot more going on. And, you know, they were very entertaining because the movie Starship Troopers was basically a flop when it came out in 1997. Like, I think it got beat at the box office by a Mr. Bean movie. And so they sort of talked about how they made it and how people didn't seem to get it. And then just kind of how, I think probably because of the, you know, VHS and DVD, people started rewatching it or seeing it for the first time and being like, oh, there's a lot more going on here than just, you know, bugs ripping guys limb from limb, which is, to be fair, a lot of the movie. It's extremely violent. And so it was interesting to hear them talk about it and just tell stories like the studio heads didn't get it and all the problems they had, and how it was this movie. It's really a throwback to the '90s where the spaceships in it are all models, which they don't do anymore. Obviously, it's all CGI, and so that was really fun to hear. So it was a really really fun Q&A, and the audience was packed with people who loved the movie, obviously.
That's great. And leave it to those guys, the programmers of the Wisconsin Film Festival, to find great gems like that, or to find something that maybe wasn't appreciated when it first came out, and then re-release it to people with a new perspective. And it helps to have the Q&A there, a writer and a producer. To me, that's the joy of film festivals, but in particular, the Wisconsin Film Festival.
Yeah, they do a really good job of these classic screenings. And I think tomorrow night they're showing like these films from the 50s, like It Came from Outer Space, and they're in 3D, and the audience will get 3D glasses. So I mean, it's just, it's not like a con or a Sundance where I think it's a little snootier and it's about all. I mean, there's a lot of new films here, but there's always that thing where it's like, we're all here because we love movies and we love all kinds of movies, and I think they want to have something for literally everybody.
Absolutely. So what else have you seen, Rob, at the film festival? It sounds like you've been pretty active.
Yeah, I saw this great documentary about marriage called Two Strangers Trying Not to Kill Each Other, which is this best title of the festival in my mind.
Great, yeah.
And it's this couple. The husband is 84. He's a famous photographer. The wife is 75. She's sort of a failed writer. And it's such an intimate look at their marriage and like how they're growing old together, and they're very much in love, but there's also these long simmering resentments, especially from the wife, who I think is sort of lived in the husband's shadow. And it was incredible. Like, I think somebody told me it might be on public television later this year, and I definitely check. It's one of my favorites of the year, I think. That was fantastic. And then I did see No Packers, No Life. I don't know if you saw that one.
I didn't. I interviewed that filmmaker on Director's Cut, but I had to introduce a film and I couldn't make it back to the Barrymore, but he said it went great.
Yeah, it was a rockin' screening. I mean, it was full of Packers fans, and he got a Go Pack Go call and response. It's a pretty simple story about this group of Japanese Packers fans and this guy who brings them over to Lambeau to see a game and kind of fulfill their fan dream. And it's like I said, it's a pretty simple thing, but it was a very fun screening. And I'm not sure where that film will pop up. I assume, but I mean, another thing about the festival is they really champion Wisconsin filmmakers. There's always room on the program for films like that. So that was fun.
That is one I was unable to see, and I also interviewed on PBS John Roach, who made A Road at Night. So I got a sneak preview at that, but I saw John at one of the parties later, and he said that the screening was incredible. Did you happen to be there?
I missed that one, but I had heard somebody said it was. You mean the A Road at Night screening?
Yeah, about Howard Moore, the Badger, who was in the terrible accident.
No, I talked to somebody who was there and said it was very powerful, very emotional. Both, I think Howard's son was there, if I'm not mistaken, and of course John Roach, and I heard it was a really powerful screening, again with a local connection.
Yeah, it's I think comedy is certainly something that you want to watch with a crowd, but also something like that can be cathartic. Or at least that's what it sounded like, because I watched it by myself, and it's just not the same experience.
Right.
You saw Milk Punch, Rob. Tell us about Milk Punch. I read about that. It has a connection. Its history has roots in Madison. What was that like?
Very much, and I didn't get to see it. It was sold out, the initial screening here at the festival. But if you're in Madison, they're gonna screen it again at the Bartell Theater this Friday. But so Milk Punch, and I wrote. It's fun because I wrote about it when I first came to Madison in 2000. It was like this. It's like this indie comedy about this guy. These two guys get their car stolen or driving all around Madison to get it back, and it's fun because it's really a time capsule of Madison back then. The city has changed so much. And you see places like Ella's Deli and that uniform shop that used to be in the Shankat Woods, like all these locations that, OK's Corral, which burned down in 2001, like all these landmarks that people remember that are gone now. They go to the famed Le Tigre Lounge, which is luckily still here and hasn't changed a bit. So the filmmaker restored it for its 25th anniversary and brought back a lot of the cast and the crew and talked about it. A really sort of scrappy, independent film. So if people are in town Friday, I definitely recommend going to see it. And again, a lot of the cast and crew will be there at that screening. But that's fun. Like actually, he preserved like the press kit from 2000, and I saw my own quote in there from the review I wrote in 2000, which was kind of fun.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
My bad. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I thought for some reason when I was looking at your article that you had seen that film. So, but that was a
I
good,
did see
at
it,
least
but
a
I saw
history
it
lesson
25
and
years
something
ago.
to.
So
Yeah. I saw in your article you're friends with James Creel. I don't know how to say his last name.
Kroll.
Kroll.
Yeah.
Love that guy. We
Yeah.
sat next to each other at a W.C. Fields film at Cinematheque at the festival about 5 years ago, and we were laughing hysterically together. He's kind of a cinephile, huh?
Well, he's a huge cinephile. He has his own Substack, which is great. And he brings a lot of like experimental films to town, which is great because it's like they play at the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art and Arts and Lit Lab, and really like the most challenging films that play in Madison. Usually Jim has a hand in it, so it's really great. And yeah, he's all over the festival here this year. I've seen him a couple times already.
That's so cool. What else did you see, Rob, at the festival?
I saw Shanghai Blues, which was this Hong Kong comedy from like 1984. It was kind of like a farce where it's like, mixed up identities and it was really fun to watch. And I mentioned I introed this movie called The Sea, which was made by a UW filmmaker, sort of a really interesting kind of like part movie, part dance performance piece. And that's about it. I've got a couple tonight and then a couple tomorrow night. So I think I'll have seen 10 when all is said is done, which is pretty good. Back in the day, I would hit like 4 a day and be absolutely exhausted, but I don't think I have the stamina anymore.
I think my two favorite things I saw. Well, it was fun. I hosted a Meet the Parents Q&A with Greg Liana on Saturday at the Barrymore. But then I saw a movie called The Threesome at the Barrymore, which I've been talking about incessantly. Maybe the best romantic comedy I've ever seen. Just a really solid script and executed well directed, great music, great acting. Zoe Deutsch is the lead. Highly recommend that one. And then I don't know if you're familiar with the Rolling Stones documentary they played at the Barrymore on Saturday night.
Oh, what's that? Oh, Pete, what's that called?
The Blankety Blues, for lack of. But and that one to me, I know they were excited to have it. Not a great documentary, but really neat snapshots of the Stones and what their life was like. Just great stuff at the Wisconsin Film Festival this year, as always. My guest is Rob Thomas. He's the CityCast Madison newsletter editor and a Madison-based film critic. We're talking about the Wisconsin Film Festival. Rob, Milwaukee's Film Festival is right around the corner. Will you spend time there?
I'd like to. I was looking at my buddy Matt Mueller, who I know is on the show quite a bit.
Yeah.
Dropped the schedule on his Substack, and boy, there is a ton of stuff. I don't even know where to begin. And that's is it like a 15-day festival, like twice as long as the Madison Festival, and like just so much stuff. And so I like to try and pick my shots and find a day and head out there and catch at least 2 or 3 movies in a row. So I'll have to plan on that.
They've got that beautiful Oriental theater. Like, Madison has such great venues too. The Barrymore is fantastic. And I would say that like the Oriental Theater is kind of Milwaukee's Barrymore. They're different, but that old historic, just great venues to watch a film in.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really a jewel, and they restored it a few years ago, and it has 3 theaters, but that big main theater is just astonishing. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some other stuff you've seen. You're ahead of me. I did see Last Breath on your recommendation. Just wow. What an intense film.
Yes, yeah. I think it's on VOD now, or if not, I think it is. Yeah, people could rent it at home. But the true story of this incredible undersea rescue when this diver got trapped while trying to repair like undersea pipeline, and based on a true story made by a guy who made the documentary about it. So it's very, just the idea of these guys doing this work is fascinating enough. Like how they go that far down under the ocean, and then to see it all go wrong, and how they save this guy. No spoilers, but it's pretty incredible. So I'm glad you liked it.
And it's a spoiler, but it's not. I mean, I kind of knew he was saved going into it, but it's what he goes through and the miracle of how he was saved. And despite what happened and how long he went without oxygen, it's fascinating. And the other thing I noticed, Rob, about the film, which I kind of liked, no bad guys. Like, it was just everybody kind of angling towards the same goal. It just made it riveting.
Yeah, remind me. I think I compared it to Apollo 13 in my review, in the sense that it was like, like you said, there's no villain, there's no like greedy billionaire saying, let him go or whatever. It's like guys on the ship, guys on the divers, the guy trapped, and everybody trying to do their part to get him back. So yeah, highly recommended.
Really fun. Woody Harrelson and the guy from Animal Kingdom. I can never remember his name. So we'll have a couple more minutes with Rob. Rob, I also want to say, at the Wisconsin Film Festival, I went to see part of Erica, which is a Russ Meyer film. And I had never seen a Russ Meyer film, but it's so campy and so bad. I have to say, the novelty wore off after about 40 minutes. And despite nudity and bad acting, I had to get out of there.
What have I seen? I think it was called like Faster Pussycat. Kill.
Oh, yeah.
Like the name of the movie. I've seen that. I think I saw it maybe at the festival or like the Cinematheque, which is sort of connected to it. And as quality goes, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's definitely an artifact of its time. Yeah.
For sure. All right, Rob Thomas is with us. He's a Madison-based film critic. We'll have a couple more minutes with Rob after this very short break. Don't go anywhere. It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Don't see at all. I gotta get away. I don't
know where to go. It's hopeless, so I guess I'll leave it alone.
Well, I spent all that day fixing up to go somewhere.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and will run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
Hey, it's John Mino.
And Jim Schmidt from Mino and the Mayor.
Want to stay in the loop with all things Northeast Wisconsin? Sign up for the WGBW weekly newsletter.
Get the latest local stories, updates on the weather, and a special feature from our Mino and the Mayor podcast.
It's your one-stop shop for real news and great conversation in Northeast Wisconsin.
Log on to WGBW.FM today and get signed up.
Real news, great conversation. Sign up today at WGBW.FM/newsletter.
Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And if you have ever volunteered or are currently volunteering with events through On Broadway Incorporated in Green Bay, then you are invited for a volunteer appreciation happy hour on Thursday, April 17th from 4 till 7 p.m. Join in for some light appetizers and drinks while socializing and learning about more volunteer opportunities in the Broadway district. You can sign up by going to WGBW.FM and clicking events.
Did you know that Wisconsin has a new, quick, and free online tax filing tool called IRS Direct File?
Direct File is changing how people file their taxes and bringing more money into our state through the federal Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credit. File your federal and state taxes online directly with the IRS from your smartphone or computer. On average, file in less than 1 hour. Available in English and Spanish.
Welcome back. Tomorrow night on Night Light, John and Gordy from the WDMX morning show in Madison will be here to make the popcorn pick of the week. Those guys are always so much fun to have on the show, and just good all around dudes. They will be here, and then Max Blaska will be here to talk about his film festival, which focuses on mental health. And Conrad, who else? We got Logan Rogie from Travel, Wisconsin. He'll be joining the program as well to tell you what is coming up and what you should look forward to here in the state of Wisconsin in the next month or so. Right now, we have a few more minutes with our friend Rob Thomas. We were talking about the Wisconsin Film Festival and the movie Last Breath. Rob, I want to ask you about one more movie, and then I have another question for you based on an article I saw in CityCast Madison newsletter, which is fast becoming one of my favorite reads.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's just always interesting stuff. And I like the way you guys frame things. Like it was the best restaurants in strip malls. It's just a fun kind of take on things. But let's talk about Black Bag. I mentioned that I hosted the Meet the Parents Q&A. I found out that David Koepp was there, who's written tons of movies and works with Steven Soderbergh. And Steven Soderbergh is one of the reasons Meet the Parents ended up at Universal. So I found that interesting and just kind of a weird coincidence. But he wrote Black Bag, David Koepp. So what did you think of that? I still have not seen it.
I loved it. David Koepp, UW graduate, and he wrote like the original Jurassic Park, and I think he wrote the new one, and just really prolific and writes all kinds of movies, big and small. And Black Bag was right up my alley. It's a British spy movie, but much more like John le Carré than James Bond. And Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett, great cast, play married British spies. And Fassbender gets wind that his wife might be a traitor and starts kind of investigating her without her knowing. And then things get very complicated, and there's lots of double crosses and what's going on. It's, fantastic dialogue, great acting, extremely stylish, and very not much action, but very much like, a battle of wits. And I highly recommend. I think that is also already out on VOD to rent or buy, as well as still in theaters. I think it's still in theaters after a couple of weeks. And it's like another great thing. It's like a 90-minute movie. You're in and you're out. So
love that.
I love that.
Yeah, same. I'll have to check that out. I love Steven Soderbergh as a director, and when I first saw that coming out, also I read about that, like the husband and the wife thing, and it begged the question, at least within me, would my wife really try to kill me, or can we work this out? Like without knowing the details, I kind of feel like your home life trumps the spy world, but not with these people. They could be pretty ruthless.
Yes, and that is a central question: is like, how far can you trust your spouse? And I definitely won't reveal it, but it's really fun to watch. Yeah.
Very cool. So another thing, Rob, I know you didn't write this article, but I figure since you're the editor of the newsletter, someone wrote an article called "Will Wisconsin Ever Legalize Weed?" What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. We're sort of I think the article says we're an island of prohibition with Minnesota and Illinois and Michigan all legalizing it, and the article, and it's so convoluted here right now. What's legal and what isn't, and and so I thought that was Haley wrote that. My boss, she's an executive producer of CityCast, and a good way to try and untangle what's actually available and whether that will ever change. It seems like I think the governor put something in his budget, sort of moving towards that, but it doesn't seem to be getting much support from the legislature. So we'll see.
It's just getting weird.
Yeah, right.
One more quick question for you. I've heard nothing but we've got about a minute left. Gotham bagels. I've heard those are the best. What are your favorite bagels in Madison? This was also in CityCast. Check it out.
Yeah, I wrote a list of the best bagels. I love Gotham, their sandwiches. And then there's a place, Mermaid Kitchen, where you kind of pre-order them, and I've gotten those, and those are really good. I mean, I don't pretend to be like a bagel connoisseur. Like, I didn't grow up in New York or Montreal, where allegedly the best bagels in the world are. But those two, I think, are the ones people should try for sure.
All right. Fantastic. Hey, great stuff as always, Rob. Go watch your movies. Listen, get yourself a Hazed on Radio beer. Put it on my tab. I don't think I have a tab, but no, I wish I just like to pretend I'm a big shot. So, but have a great time at the movies, buddy. Keep up the great work, and let's talk again soon.
Definitely. Thanks, Pete.
All right, you got it, Rob. That's Rob Thomas. Check out his work at CityCast Madison, a great publication. Rob is the newsletter editor, writes great articles. Also, check out his Substack at Not That Rob Thomas Substack. Always fun to hear Rob's opinions. Conrad, are you ready for John and Gordy tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah, they're going to bring it.
I'm a little intimidated, I have to be honest. They bring, 40, 50, 200 years of radio experience. These guys they bring their A game. They're fun. They're smart. I'm a little nervous, but I think we'll get through it.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring some good recommendations.
I think so too. And it's nice that they'll both be there because we get two for the price of one. We'll get two popcorn picks. We'll talk about a film festival in Madison that addresses mental health with a lot of its movies and with the festival as a whole, which will be fun. And then our pal Logan Rogie will join us too, and we will find out what's going on in Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to Rob Thomas. Thank you to Tim Schweigel. And have a great night, everybody. Thanks for your texts. On behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad, I'm Pete Schwaba saying good night, Wisconsin.